فعلي برياح الانتصار، إنما نحن جنود نحرق العار بنا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Radio Islam International. My name is Habib Bobat, and inshallah we'll be together this afternoon right up till Maghrib. It's just gone a few minutes after 4 p.m. What does it mean to be a Muslim today? And more specifically, what does it mean to be a Muslim man today? Life coach Nabil Bekal joins us all the way from the Netherlands to unpack the myths, media distortions, and modern extremes, and to reconnect us with the timeless model of manhood found in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam seerah. Nabil, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Radio Islam International.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallahu khairan for having me.
It's a pleasure indeed. What's the time right now in Netherlands?
It's the same, I think, as you over there.
Indeed. I never take note of that. How has mainstream media shaped or distorted the image of Muslim men, and what impact does this have on young Muslims today?
Well, nowadays is a terrible thing, but one of the things that are it's a very mixture of different things. Media is actually pushing it and making it worse in any kind of way. But we have it about, for example, the kind of the liberalism on one side, and then we have the cultural Islam on the other side. And this mixture of things, media don't understand what's going on, so they pick from here and there, and they make a mess, basically.
Mm. Yeah. So how can Muslim men today distinguish between cultural baggage and what Islam actually expects of them?
So first of all, you have to look at what is it basically liberalism, and what is the culture, right? So the culture is basically saying the man must never show emotions, that they always need to be tough, control everything, and that is and men are just in this trap, right? And then you have the other side, which is the liberalism, and it says totally the opposite, which is masculinity is toxic. It pushes the idea of men. They basically reject your identity, and so these different two things create this. So how they can do it? Well, basically coming back to the Quran and Sunnah. That is the solution.
And when you look at the two extremes, as you were also talking about, the extremes of red pill masculinity and woke ideology, how does this mislead Muslim men searching for direction?
Well, if you talk about the red pill and all this stuff, which is basically trying to make men look tough and not have accountability, what they're doing, and sometimes disrespect, because they don't have no morals, they don't have no compass like we have, right? And you have that in the red pill, and then you have the woke, which is basically the opposite. It's the softness. You have to making men confused, because they don't know. You have to be extremely soft, or you have to be extremely hard, and they don't have this balance which we have, and they don't have this relationship with Allah. So it's a completely society following kind of religion, I would say.
And how does the prophetic example offer a balanced alternative that avoids both extremes?
So if you follow the Quran and Sunnah, which is basically following the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what you're following is a person who was kind, he was firm, but he led armies, but at the same time he was crying in salah. It is a balance, and with the Sunnah, of course, is an explanation. You have the explanation of every piece of thing and how to live your life in a healthy way, which it creates this relationship with your wife, with your spouse, with your brothers, with your friends. It's a very different way. It's not dominating. It's responsibility, accountability. This is very different.
And what does real Islamic masculinity looks like in action, especially in how a man leads at home and in society?
Well, that's a very important question, because I think most people don't know. We are completely lost right now. Myself, I'm also in my journey. I mean, I'm also discovering myself, where am I going with this. I'm trying to learn. I'm learning about the Quran and Sunnah myself, and I'm trying to teach others how how to find the well, because as I said, it's a compass. So you really need to take accountability. Try to reconnect with your identity. When you go back to the Sunnah, you are really finding yourself. That's first of all. When you find yourself, then you want to talk. You can start talking about the real issues, like speaking about addiction that we have, pornography, loneliness, spiritual burnout, all these different things. I think these are things that needs to be addressed first before you can say, okay, this is where I want to. This is what it is, you know. And I think I know I'm going a little bit all over the place, but it is, I think, a very important thing that masajids take also, not only masajid, but the community, that we reconnect with the Quran and Sunnah, and the masajid step up and they talk about these different things, what I just talked about, which is addiction, pornography, loneliness. These are things that are very important for men to heal. And what you said, how is a man to lead? You know, we have the examples in the Sunnah. So any explanation you can find over there.
Mm. And how did the Prophet ﷺ model emotional intelligence and strength, and why is that model so relevant today?
Why is so moral? Well, I think we, just looking at the world right now, we can see what is going on. Men are acting like women are acting like men. We having this, what I said, this liberalism, this cultural thing is making up men, creating a society which they don't really understand anymore how masculinity works. Everything is now toxic masculinity and all of these different things. So can you repeat your question? I want to go back. I lost a little bit my
Mm. How did the Prophet ﷺ model emotional intelligence and strength, and how that is so relevant today?
well, it's very important today because young people are so lost that you have now people going to suicide. They're doing things that are basically depression. You know, is going very bad. And the model of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a very important model. And the way to see it, as I said, that's what I'm doing, creating the videos and all these different things, picking up little by little, so that men can, you know, create this. Well, reconnect basically with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Sunnah and the Quran. Um, I'm completely lost my track right now. What was the first part? You said this is the second part.
Emotional intelligence.
If emotional intelligence.
Mm.
What do you mean by emotional intelligence?
So, how did the Prophet ﷺ model emotional intelligence? How do we glean from his seerah that this is how the Prophet of Allah ﷺ exhibited this particular characteristic, given the fact that that is one of the key qualities in modern day society, especially from a male's perspective?
Yeah, but I mean, in the Sahih Hadith, you have to seek knowledge. That's the cure for all the sicknesses. Seek knowledge. That's the most important thing. And right now we have the issue that we have everybody saying something. One imam says this, the other says that, and you have it's completely people are getting lost. But you have to come back to what the Salaf was doing, meaning you have to really go to the Quran and follow the Sunnah. And the Sunnah, you have to find the Sahih Hadith, and you understand what was going on. Because nowadays everybody says the Prophet Sallallahu said this, and the other said that, and then if you go around looking for it, you're gonna find that it's not true. So it's very important that seeking knowledge and looking for in the right places.
Hmm. Brother Nabil, Jazakallah khairan for your time this afternoon. Much appreciated on Radio Islam International.
Jazakallah khair. Assalam.
Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.